Hi, my name's Bev Evans. You can find me on Twitter and these two names. I've come to talk about giving writing purpose, which is something that is always being discussed on Twitter and at teach meets and at different teaching events and at different publications, whatever you want to call it, inspiring your reluctant writers, getting your boys to write, getting children engaged in creative process. It's a big issue within schools. And unfortunately, I think quite often on Twitter, we're in this bubble where we discuss ideas that we have used or that we think might work, using videos, using images, using web tools, blogging, games, whatever. But we're in the minority because the majority of teachers in the UK and worldwide are not on Twitter and are not, for whatever reason, using some of the ideas that you hear on Twitter. I'll give you a few examples of things that I know about. Teach meets are wonderful. I've gone to lots of teach meets, and I'm sure quite a few of you have too. They're a great way of sharing good practice, particularly at this time when schools may not have the budget to have people in to give really good quality training. Unfortunately, the majority of teachers in the UK don't attend teach meets. There are sometimes a core group that go to every teach meet, it seems, or most teach meets, and then there are others that won't go to any, which is a shame, and it's not what I'm here to discuss, but this is one of the issues I think we have with getting the message out about giving writing purpose and using technology to support writing. We have lots of ideas of how to use handheld learning or games in the classroom, and there are lots of inspirational speakers that some people will see that will inspire them across all areas of the curriculum. But again, that's not what's happening in the majority of schools across the UK. So we need to get this message across, and I'm not quite sure how we do that. However, what I do know is that you can have great success with literacy in the classroom without the bells and whistles of gaming and whatever else, blogging, just by giving the children purpose in their writing, by making the topic something they want to write about. Excuse me. So you can see Doctor Who. What's my first idea is just tap into what the kids like. I did a project on Doctor Who linked to persuasive writing. It was at the time of the general election. Children were in mixed ability groups, and they spoke about how they had to write campaigns and they had to speak to the class and create videos and flyers and leaflets and all sorts of different things for different characters, and not just the nice characters, the not so nice characters as well. We got great writing across the classroom, and it's just finding that angle to work it into your planning so that it's something that they enjoy doing, that gets them all enthused about what they have to do, which in my case was persuasive writing. It doesn't need a lot of technology to do it, just needs that idea. Sharing ideas, we talk a lot on Twitter about blogging. Blogging is marvellous. I think that sometimes with SEN pupils it needs to be managed very carefully, and I don't think it's the be-all and end-all of giving writing purpose for children. Sharing work, however, is important, whether you share it with your peers for peers assessment, whether you have special assemblies where children get up and read stories and are praised for their efforts, whether you get children to go to other areas of the school to read their stories to other classes. Sharing is important. Talking is important. Getting children working together in groups is important. You can do it quite easily in the classroom by giving group roles and having ideas around that. But I just think that writing as a group can be really easy, because sometimes you'll find that children who struggle with the actual written word will have the most creative ideas, and by working in a group where everybody is contributing, it'll get the best out of them. And there are fantastic things to support this on the web that don't cost the earth. Primary Pad is one of them. Or getting children to use Audacity, which is free, and buying a pile of gooseneck mics from your pound shop. There are lots of ways you can do it, but it's just easy. Getting them to think outside the box, maybe getting them outside of their comfort zone, maybe with a current affairs story or something that they wouldn't have dreamt of writing about. I quite often used to use current affairs in the classroom because there would be times when children would come in having seen something on the news and they needed to discuss it, and you need to have the flexibility to work that into your daily routine and put your planning aside if there's something that you really need to discuss with the children. I had a great lesson which was linked to the Icelandic volcano explosion, where the ash cloud was stopping people from travelling home. You could go onto this particular website and it showed you a live sort of aerial shot of where the ash cloud was, and I gave children destinations they were trapped in, and they had to use travel sites and all sorts of information to get their way home. They had a budget, they had to write about their route, they had to map it all out on a Prezi. It was a really good project and it got them all engaged and we all got something from it. The thing is, if you don't try simple things, there's no point just going in at the deep end and trying the most complicated. Simple things work. Simple things are what the majority of teachers will be able to do quickly, and simple things can still make things happen. I'm not saying you can't use video and gaming in the classroom if that's your thing. I just think that there are other ways that you can engage writing. To have an accessible classroom and have children engaged in writing, it doesn't cost the earth. There are loads of free tools online that can get children stimulated in the writing process. There are lots of tools that we already have in school that we can use with children to get them enthused. There are lots of apps, if you do have tablets, that do not cost the earth and that will encourage children to write. I just think that we need to think very carefully on how we're giving these children purpose for their writing. Everybody does better when what they do has purpose. It doesn't need to be expensive, and I'd love to hear some of your feedback and some ideas that you might have that do not stick to what we always discuss on Twitter, or quite often discuss, which is handheld learning, using games, using video, using that sort of thing. What other ideas have you got? Over to you.